Hello, cheers, and welcome to Tipsy Book Talks. My name is Taylor.
And I'm Raeanne.
And today we are actually going to be doing an original tag called the Drunk in Love book tag.
So we decided to create this tag to celebrate the month of love, and for this video I made a red velvet martini.
Similar to Raeanne's themed drink, I decided to make a love potion. I kind of created this one myself. Basically it's a Cosmo, but it also has a little bit of Grenadine to make it a little bit just like sweeter and more red, and so it's really cute. And then for the rim I did a sprinkle rim, so we're gonna try it.
Cheers!
For both of those drinks I'm actually going to leave the recipe down below, but yeah, let's get started.
Favorite romance book? I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. Kissed by an Angel by Elizabeth? Yeah, Elizabeth Chandler is still my favorite all-time love story. I can't get over the fact that I read this massive thing in 6 hours and I loved it. I could not put it down. I thought about it constantly afterwards. So still to this day, a amazing love story that literally tells you that love never dies. So
okay, so this question is actually a little bit harder for me. I read a lot of romance-driven fantasy, but very little actual just traditional romance books. So for this one, I'm going to have to go with My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. I'm going to put it right here if you don't see my hand. But basically, I loved this book when I was probably a junior in high school. I don't read a lot of romance, so it was kind of new to me. But this one was just like a cute, sweet read that had a lot of like ups and downs and like traditional teen romance that just goes awry. So I really enjoyed it in that aspect. Again, I would like to read more romance. I'm actually going to read Outlander, and this has been the perfect time basically to dive more into the romance genre, but yeah, I haven't really read that much. Okay, so the second one is going to be the most recent book that gave you a book hangover. And for that one, I'm going with none other than House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This one is not one of my favorite Sarah J. Maas books, but I did not hate it. I know most people think when you like something gives you a book hangover, it's because you didn't like it. But no, like I loved this book enough that like the second that I finished it, I had to reread it. One, because I was a little bit confused in the beginning, and two, just because I wanted to kind of sit with the world a little bit longer and like see things that I hadn't seen in the first read through. Honestly, I'll probably end up reading it again before the next book comes out. But like I remember taking, I think like a month off of reading after this, just because my mind was so stuck in this story. It was hard for me to pick up anything else just because I wanted to know what happens next. And you know, if a book does that to you, you know it's a good book. But yeah, this one, it was hard for me to get over this baby, so I'm really excited for the next one to come out.
I'm gonna say this one, and it's the kind of hangover where you have to keep drinking the next day in order to survive, because I finished this book and I instantly was like, I need to read the rest. I need to get my daily dose of ACOTAR, because I was like, it left on such a good like ending that I was like, I need more, I need more. What is your go-to lonely drink? I would say a hot toddy, because you can pair any tea with like a whiskey or a rum, and then a gin and tonic, because you can just have a simple gin and tonic water with some like lime, and it's just like refreshing. Or you can do it with like, I've gotten told to put like watermelon juice in it, and I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. Some people do cucumber. Like there's such a variety that you can do. Just add one simple ingredient, changes everything.
This one is sad. I'm sorry I even wrote this question, but I feel like during the Valentine's season, like most people are like dislike it because it is just one of those seasons that makes you feel kind of lonely. But for me, I would have to go with like a comfort drink for me. So like something really warm and nice and cozy. So I'm gonna go with like a coffee, just a very simple coffee and Bailey's, like an Irish coffee. I think that the warmth of the coffee is just so comforting and sweet, but then the Bailey's also provides like an alcoholic warmth, if you know what I mean, like in your chest. So I just like really love that drink, and I really think that it brings me a lot of comfort in lonely times. The fourth question is your biggest comfort book. Okay, so for this one, I know you guys are probably going to give me shit for saying another Sarah J Maas book, but I'm going to have to go with A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. So my comfort book changes constantly, like constantly. I think every time I think about it, I think of a new book that just brings me so much joy and peace and happiness. But right now I am currently doing an ACOTAR reread for the new book that's coming out in February. Me and Raeanne are reading it together. She is reading it for the first time. I'm reading it for I think maybe the third or fourth time. But this one is just one that brings me so much like peace and joy. I think it's a time where we get to see all of our favorites somewhat happier and dealing with their own traumas, but getting past it and moving on. So I think that's why I love this book so much, and it just brings me so much joy. But yeah, I actually hated this book the first time I read it. I just like didn't care, and now it's like one of my favorite reads to just read when I'm sad. So that's who I am as a person.
I have a comfort series, and it's the series of Unfortunate Events. I have talked about it in many of our earlier videos. That is my go-to read, but my go-to watch. I love to put that on in the background because it's on Netflix. I love everything about it. It involves like a spooky, a little bit of mystery, some like hidden cult things. I think it's so cool.
Number 5. Steamy or cutesy romance? I don't even think you guys have to ask this question with how much I talk about Sarah J Maas, but I'm definitely going to go with steamy. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't love romance genre in general, because most of them are so cutesy. But like I just like a lot of like plot differences. I like characters to have some issues with each other before like they come together. I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but yeah, steamy all the way. Number 6, like Beyonce's lyric, how the hell did this shit happen? What is a romance book that had a twist you did not see coming?
This book is an incredible read. It's a YA novel. I loved it. I read it maybe within like a couple of days. I don't think I read it as fast as the other one. But this book, like, it was so hard. It was hard to finish because I had a feeling I knew the ending, and when that ending came, I was like, well, damn it, this book's over now. So it made me really sad. But great ending. Did not see it coming until literally the last like 100 pages where I was like, shit, it's ending, damn it. But yeah, it was good.
So this one I am totally going to cheat, and I'm going to put it right here, but it is Verity by Colleen Hoover. The reason I'm saying this is cheating because this is way more of a thriller than it is a romance, but I did not know that going into it, if I'm being completely honest. I thought that this was mainly going to be just like a romance, like a cutesy one. I had never read anything by Colleen Hoover before, so I did not know what I was going into. And then like that whole entire... If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about, but it is just so intense, and there's twists and turns and a lot of things that I did not expect, even as like, okay, so a lot of it I did expect, I shouldn't say that, but there were ways that it twisted it where even when I did expect something coming, there was a twist along with it that I didn't see coming. So that's what I'm going to leave it there. I don't want to spoil anything, but Verity is a really excellent book. You just got to be prepared.
So what's a book that was so bad you wish you were drunk reading it? Mine isn't really a book that was so bad. It was a book that at the time I really enjoyed, but looking back, if I had to reread it, I would want to be drunk, or I'd probably make a drinking game out of it because it's just so cringy. And that's Looking for Alaska by John Green, because I loved that book. I thought that that was the epitome of romance, and then I was like, oh, wait, no. I grew up very quickly after that because I was like, oh, this is love, and I was also a teenager, so it makes sense, but I was like, yeah, that is a moment we don't think about. It was too much.
So we have talked about in quite a few of our videos now how much I hate the Matched series by Ali Condi. So we're going to try something else. I'm going to actually give one that could be quite controversial, but it is the Maze Runner series by James Dashner. At this time, I was still reading every book that I could get my hands on. Like, my junior year of high school, I was in such a reading frenzy that I was basically reading anything that was popular that I had heard people talking about. So yeah, I picked up this book, and I didn't really like the first one, but it was just kind of like one of those things where I thought maybe it was setting up the next couple, and I was like, okay, this seems pretty good. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And then I kind of forced myself through the second two. There were definitely parts that I enjoyed, but overall the writing style was not my favorite. So yeah, it's a no for me. I actually really disliked that series, and I am happy that I'm to the point now where I'm able to like have enough love for myself to stop me from reading books that I like don't enjoy. So yeah, pro DNF on this channel. Okay, number 8 is, what is a couple that is the definition or the perfect picture of love? I don't have like words that express how much I love Emma and Julian. I don't think this is a spoiler, but Emma and Julian are just like the perfect couple in my mind. I normally don't love a friends to lovers. I prefer enemies to lovers. I prefer there to be some strife, but I think that there is enough issues in like what they are facing as, I don't know how to say this without spoiling, but I think they have enough conflict in the book itself to where they don't need internal conflict as like an enemies to lovers would or something like that. I think that there's enough in this book that makes a friends to lovers more enjoyable. But yeah, Emma and Julian, I love them so much.
I'm gonna have to say Kaisa and Ash from Ash. I talked about this one before. I really enjoyed it. I believe this is the picture of love because it reminds me a lot of my girlfriend and I, and so it makes me really happy. I love their love. I think it's adorable. Your favorite romance trope? I don't know if this is technically a romance trope, but I guess it's like when the supposed like bad boy or bad girl turns out to be the like actual love interest, where it's like they always have this like hardcore exterior. I'm also speaking on this because I'm still reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, so I'm thinking of like Raeanne and Feyre. But when like the bad boy, bad girl kind of villain-esque person turns out to be the love interest and is just like a softie and actually is a good person. I love that because that's how I feel like I normally go about love, where I'm just like, oh, look on the bright side of things. Like, the people who are always the like mysterious dark ones are definitely the squishy interior. It makes me happy. So yeah, I definitely love reading about that because I'm that person that puts myself in books.
And number 10 is a character that you would love to get drunk with. There are so many, and I really tried to like put myself out of like Cassandra Clare and Sarah J Maas, who are always in my head. I decided to go with Donatello from the Caraval series, which is written by Stephanie Garber. Okay, so first of all, if you guys have not read that series, like Donatella is just like a fun character. She's like a fun person to be around. She's a little bit more risky. She's a little bit more exciting. And I think that she'd be fun to get drunk with and just go on adventures with. So I'm going to stick to that one. I think she's really cool and you guys should check out that series.
Again, back to A Court of Thorns and Roses because this is literally all I'm going to talk about forever now. I want to get drunk with Lucian because I think that would be the best time. Like the best time ever to just be around him and have him just like get like drunk off of fairy wine, like, ooh. He would look at me and be like, I f***ing hate you, you stupid dumb. But I'd be like, I'm so happy. And then I'd be like trailing along with him like a little puppy. Like, I'm just like, yeah, friend. He's like, shut up, we're not friends. I think he's hilarious. I think getting a drink with him and getting drunk with him would be an all-time amazing time. I'd have so much fun. Okay, and our last bonus question. What is the most romantic thing that has ever happened to you? So my girlfriend and I are like very romantic. As of this past year, it's been really hard to be romantic because we literally see each other day in, day out. So our romance is like someone makes dinner for each other, like for the other person, or like someone does the dishes without being asked. Like it's those like tiny small gestures around the house. But the most romantic thing that's ever happened was definitely when she asked me to be her girlfriend. I not only love Beauty and the Beast, but I am obsessed with Tangled. Once it came out, I was all for it. I felt for Rapunzel and I just loved it. So I always wanted to find my Flynn Rider. And the entire time that Katie and I have ever dated, that's all she's ever kind of been, is she's like, not really like a saving grace, but she's the one kind of opening my eyes to things. And so when she asked me to be her girlfriend, her and one of our good friends, Bree, set up all of these lanterns in one of the rooms in the house that we're at right now. The lanterns were like hanging from the ceiling at different angles, and she had like, at last I see the light playing, and because it was in the bedroom, on the bed was like this little trinket box with this tiny little lantern. I have it at my parents' house. And when you open the trinket box, on the inside it says, "Will you be my girlfriend?" And I cried my eyes out because that was the cutest thing ever. And it was this big ordeal because she had just moved in, so there wasn't even anything in the house. But like the one thing that she was like, I'm going to do this for her. She decorated the entire room. It was so sweet. I was like, wow, this is how you're gonna ask me to be your girlfriend? Oh my God, what's gonna happen when you propose? This is insane. It was so cute, so cliche, so adorable. I love her. Makes me happy.
Okay, this one was kind of hard to think of because luckily John is a very romantic person, but I think I'll go with the most recent one. And on Christmas, he gifted me with an iPad, and I talked about it in one of my most recent vlogs. But he gifted me with this iPad that basically had a Sarah J. Maas quote engraved on the back, and just the fact that he knew who my favorite author was and what kind of quote would call to me and make me like really happy, the fact that he knew all of that stuff was just like really special to me. So I look at that quote every day and I just tear up. But yeah, love you. Well, that's going to be all for us today, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video because we have tons of Valentine's themed content coming out this month.
And please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Our goal is to reach 200 soon. So if you would like to give us a little Valentine's Day present, make it that one.
And finally, you can check us out over on Instagram at Tipsy_book_talks, where we release a bunch of new content specifically for that. And we also do a lot of announcing what's coming up on our channel. So make sure to check us out there. And we love you all. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.